Hi, everybody. This is Joel Wood, your lobbyist in Washington. Hope you're doing well. Congress, of course, isn't getting jack done as we are perched on the edge of the next fiscal crisis, this sequestration that's expected to kick in next week. So what I did was I took my kid and we went down to the Daytona 500 this past weekend where we rednecked it up real good. Had a blast. This is how close we got to Danica Patrick. You can imagine how much fun my son had with that. And I had a brief conversation there with Florida Governor Rick Scott, in which I actually told him I thought he made the right call in reversing himself on the issue of Medicaid funding to go up to that 125% of the federal poverty level under the Affordable Care Act. If you take a look at this map right now, there has been a trend line of Republicans that are coming along, if not so on the exchange development or the federally facilitated exchange development, more so on the Medicaid expansion. And this is a big, big deal because in the absence of Republican states, and you can see it's that tier of deep southern states plus Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and a couple others, in the absence of them signing up on this, there's going to be a huge coverage gap because none of the subsidies for anyone that goes into the state-based exchanges or the federally facilitated exchanges or the federal exchange is going to be able to have access to any subsidies until you get to 125% of that poverty line. So I think this is a very, very interesting sequence of developments, and I think it wouldn't surprise me if you saw a couple more of those red states that come along in the coming weeks. I careen from week to week with different crises over aspects of the implementation of the Affordable Care Act. And I guess the one that worries me the most right now is on stop-loss insurance, on self-funded plans, ERISA plans. We've already seen the foreshadowing in articles in the New York Times of Obamacare supporters who say that self-funded plans are a loophole for avoiding all of the minimum essential coverage requirements and everything else under Obamacare, and that they are. You look at a firm, an association like us, the council, we're 35 employees or so here in Washington. This goes directly to that issue of if you like your insurance, you get to keep it. They've already decided that the exchange here is going to be every group under 50 has to go through the exchange. So much for that promise. And so we're looking even at potential self-funding types of opportunities with stop-loss insurance. And so I guess to that extent, yes, that may be an escape mechanism from a lot of the requirements of the Affordable Care Act, but we're already seeing some movement, and our fears are that the IRS is going to issue interpretations to pick a number, 75, 100, whatever, below which they will not allow for self-insured plans to try to pull more people into these pools in the state-based exchanges. It worries me a lot, especially as so many of our member firms, so many of you have been very, very successful in helping businesses control their costs through great stop-loss insurance in groups I've heard as low as 5 people. So this is a big, big concern for us. So finally, I think sequestration is going to kick in. All the atmospherics, seen a lot of members of Congress this week. They're back in town, and I don't see anything that tells me that there's going to be any kind of a deal that avoids sequestration. Republicans will take most of the blame on that. All the polls will demonstrate. And it's $89 billion out of a $3.8 trillion federal budget, so that's less than 2.5%. That's only 10% of the deficit for this year. But I guarantee you, a week from now, you're going to be hearing about starving babies and 10-hour-long lines at the airports and all kinds of crises emerging from this. And so hopefully, sooner or later, there will be some mechanism through which, through the debt ceiling, or the budgetary process, when some sanity can prevail and something can be worked out. But and I think that will afford us a lot of political opportunities as well. So hope you're doing well, and we'll continue to keep you posted. Thanks.